Well, here we are, day 2 of the Alltech FEI World Equestrian Games here in Normandy. The waiting is over and the sport has started. This is our second daily talk show from the Chez studio. Unfortunately, we're not blessed with the best of weather today. It is pouring with rain here in Chez, and it is forecast to do so all day. Will that play a part in the outdoor events? Ironically, the reining competition is indoors. Well, my guests today are double-Paralympic gold medalist Natasha Baker, Italian dressage rider Valentina Truppa, and from our hosts here in France, reining Bastien Bourgeois. Bastien, first of all, thank you to all of you for coming along. Bastien, I have to ask you the question about the weather first, because, of course, you live in Normandy, you grew up in Normandy.
Yep.
Are we expecting this kind of, is this normal for you?
Yeah, we can say it's normal. I mean, it's raining a lot in Normandy, so we got a pretty bad summer this year. July was better, but August is really, really terrible for us too, but we get used to it and we just do with the weather. Anyway, like you say, the running is inside, so it's uncomfortable for all my friends in dressage and jumping, but in the running we don't really care about the rain.
No, and you're smiling.
Yeah, we keep smiling every time.
Absolutely.
If you're not smiling when it's raining, we never smile in Normandy.
Valentina, it's great to see you here, and of course I know that you're part of a young Italian team, and at the London Olympics I think you were the only Italian rider representing in dressage. Tell me exactly, how did that feel for you? What was that like?
Of course, for me it was a pleasure, because after 20 years I was the first Italian rider in
20 years.
Yes, it's too much. and I was the first one to go in the final for dressage, so for me it was a pleasure, was really my goal for that year, and I would like this year to do the same here in the World Equestrian Games.
So when you were there and actually in London, I mean, did you feel the pressure of being, I mean, there was a lot of Italian dressage riders in Italy, you know, amateur riders,
yeah.
So they're looking to you.
Yes.
as their hero. So did you feel that? Was that?
I think it was really fantastic, because dressage in Italy is not very known, but after my competition, many you know, young riders start with dressage, and now after many years we have a team here for the first time in a World Equestrian Game, after, I don't know, I think 8 or more here. And so after that, many things changed in Italy, and okay, I'm happy about it.
That's great, and you're flying the flag, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Natasha, you of course are very experienced at major championships. First of all, how's the travelling been out here for you getting here? Everything been gone well?
Yeah, everything's been really good actually. The horses have travelled really well and have settled in really well as well. I haven't actually seen them this morning, so I hope they're not too affected by the rain, but I'm sure it'll be okay.
I went down and had a look at the arena that you've got down there. It looked fantastic.
It's amazing. It's really, really nice. I'd say it's kind of like a mini London for us. We've got the grandstand down one side, but it's far enough away not to spook the horses too much, which is perfect.
The sport of para-dressage, whilst it's been around for quite a long time, it's really been brought more recently into what I would call under the same roof as all the other disciplines. That must be very exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think I've come along at the right time, actually. I really started in 2011 when I was selected for the Europeans, and this is my first World Games, so I'm really excited about that. But it's so nice to be included now with like the able-bodied dressage and all of the other sports. I think it's a real step up for para-dressage, and I think it can only keep raising the bar and keep getting bigger and stronger.
Oh, we ought to mention that there's over 100 competitors here in Chez for the para-dressage, which is more than has ever been at any major championship, a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic, and more people are hearing about it. I think London was a big turning point for Paralympic sport in general, not just Paralympic dressage. And I think, you know, I know the RDA, Riding for the Disabled, people, you know, are calling them all the time, wanting to get in, and, you know, whether it's just competing at a small level or whether it's coming up to this kind of level, it's great because the participation have just gone up so much.
And of course, media has changed. You know, London Olympics had you know, the most incredible coverage. And in fact, the Alltech games here will be the same. You know, you can see it every day, anywhere in the world with an internet connection. You haven't got to have a television. And of course, that's going to do a great deal of good for reining, Bastien, isn't it? Because reining is comparatively new also in Europe.
Yeah, that's really new. In Germany, Italy, Belgium, there are more reiners. French is a little bit late. I mean, nobody knows when you go to talk to somebody and say, okay, I'm riding. What do you do, jumping? No, I'm not jumping. I'm a reiner. And say, what is that? So the good thing that for the WEG are here in Normandy, a lot of people say, oh, you are to the WEG, you are qualifying. So what do? You are the cowboy with the hat and the big saddle? Yes. So, I mean, a lot of people talk to me about that and say, okay, I want to try this. I have a riding center, so that's a really good commercial for us because that's really close. A lot of people can see us and say, oh, he's living close from that place, so we can go and see and maybe try. But that's the problem about training. Nobody knows, and so we try to keep growing up.
So did you, when you started to ride, did you start with reining, or was that something you came to later?
I'm in the equestrian world from my young age.
Yes.
My parents already have a riding center, but at the beginning, I don't want to ride at all. I don't like that anymore. And after they said, but you have to find a job to do something. You can work with us, but because I love to be outside with the horses and everything. But jumping was not my stuff, dressage neither. So, and then I find a place to go and ride the Western horses, and I say, oh, I love that. And after I go to the reining, and it's my goal.
So actually, it wasn't really about the horses. You just wanted to be a cowboy.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that it?
Yeah, I was not a horse lover, but I was amazed at the beginning what we can do with a reining horse, you know, for the spin and the sliding stop. For the first time I saw a video, I say, it's not possible to do that with a horse. And then I say, okay, I will try to do it.
Actually, in many ways, your sports, dressage and reining, are very related because you've both got routines that you have to complete. I mean, the training's quite different. I don't think you're going to go out on your horse and start to do all that galloping about. But Valentina, but it's so there are, you know, in terms of communication with the horse and the aids that you've got to give. I mean, you two could have a sensible conversation about, all three of you, about how you would actually ride a horse. Have you ever ridden a reining horse, Valentina?
No.
It's fantastic fun.
I will try.
It is brilliant. And you know, we were talking yesterday with Deb Criddle, who's working for us here at FEI TV, and she's, we were talking about some of the paras actually doing some reining because grade 3 and 4. Do you think they could do that?
Sophie Wells has given it a go. I know that, and she loved it. She thought it was fantastic. I haven't tried it yet, but maybe one day, who knows? Yeah. I think it'd be great.
The interesting similarity also, Valentina, Bastien said that his parents have had Equestrian Centre. Of course, you do as well with your parents, and your father was a dressage rider, wasn't he?
Yes, my dad was a dressage rider. Now he's a judge, an official judge. Now he's judging a little bit less because I'm competing everywhere, so he has no way to judge somewhere. And yes, I started when I was really young with him. He put me in front of him on his horse when I was 3 years old, and then I started with my first pony when I was more or less 5, 6 years old. I tried some jumping, but I was really bad. Like a kamikaze. I went on
I don't believe
was
that.
not my was not my sport. And then when I was 11, 12, I started with competition in dressage.
When you say that your father can't judge, is that because you're riding? You mean he's not allowed to judge if you're riding? Yeah,
because I am the daughter and he is my trainer too. So he can judge me or all the tests if I compete.
Now, I know all about children working with their parents because I have a situation in business. Is that a good relationship?
Yes, because we speak about horses and competition when we are in the stable. When we are at home, we are dad and daughter.
Okay.
Yes, I think this is this is the best way, because if you speak the whole day about horses and competition, it's crazy.
So you honestly managed to switch off, if you like, if that's the right expression. So you come back from competition, you go inside to have something to eat maybe with them, and you will not really talk a lot about it.
Of course, if we have something to speak about organization or something like this, we speak, but usually we have conversation about competition, horses in the stable, and because my dad preferred to do that out of our home, because, for example, my brother is not interested in horse, so I thought we try to speak about some other things.
Yes. In fairness to the rest of the family.
Yeah.
And Natasha, of course, your family are very involved, and is your mum out here with you?
Yeah, my mum's my groom, and she also helps me training when I'm at home when my trainer's not about.
And is that a pretty smooth running ship?
Yeah, I think so. We get on so well. We spend a lot of time together, and we do try and switch off when we go inside. But my dad's becoming more horsey as well. He's coming out here to watch me this week, so that's really good. And
what you mean, if you can't beat them, join them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, have any of you seen any of the activities going on in the village? Have you been around?
No.
There's a huge, of course, you've all been so busy with trot-ups and things, but it's huge amounts to see. And our roving reporter, Sienna Myson-Davies, went down to the village to have a look to see what was going on.
So here we are at the Alltech Music Festival, and Kool the Gang are here. I've been invited, so I'm going to go take a look.
Very great, there's a good atmosphere.
I like your dance moves, it's very good.
And it's a fabulous, it's very great.
So you're having fun?
Yes!
Slow song now, I think it's time for a drink. Cheers! I'm going backstage! I've even got my own bodyguards.
Yeah.
You're going to protect me?
Yeah.
I can't believe it! I'm going backstage! It's absolutely packed out there and I'm back here. It's amazing. It's been an amazing evening, not just for me, but for all the people here. Everyone that I've spoken to seems to be hardcore fans. I'm not surprised. This is quite a night. Well, you guys are absolute legends. How does it feel to be performing at the Alltech FEI World Equestrian Games?
Absolutely wonderful, because there's nothing but a celebration anyway.
Did you love tonight? Oh,
We love tonight. Kool the Gang is the best band in the world, of course.
Bring on the rest of the games, yes?
Yeah.
So it's been a whirlwind of a night. I still can't get over that I was backstage with Kool the Gang. I mean, phenomenal night. Everyone's spirits are lifted, and let's get on with the rest of the games.
That looked like a lot of fun, didn't it? Have any of you been down to the village?
Not yet.
Well, honestly, it's well worth it. Last night was the first night of the Alltech Music Festival. There's so much going on down there, and the band playing was Kool the Gang. None of you probably remember them from the 70s, do you? No, all too young. Too young. There is an awful lot going on. What is it, Natasha? As I said at the beginning, you've experienced with these situations, and you said it's a bit like Olympic Games. How do you feel? I mean, you are so natural at everything you do, and you look so calm. Are you feeling nervous?
Not yet, no. I think that it would be unnatural not to get a bit of nerves, but you've got to use them to your advantage, and I kind of get the butterfly feeling in my tummy before I go in. But like I say, you use it to your advantage, you get the adrenaline going, and you go into the arena, and then, you know, we do it every day of the week. We're kind of, you know, we've competed so many times before, and we just got to go in and do our job, do our best, and, you know, hopefully that's good enough for the result we want. And
you've got your mum here, you said, and your dad. So who's analysing you? You know, who's talking to you? Who's helping you? Who do you turn to? Would you come out of the test, you finished, you think it's gone okay, you're not sure? Who's the first person you talk to?
My trainer, Lisa Hopkins, is here training me, and my mum. So us three kind of are our close-knit team, and we know exactly, well, we know JP, my horse, inside out, upside down, back to front. So yeah, I look to those two, and if they're smiling, then I know I've done a good job. If I get that, then I know I'll just go home. But no, yeah, I look to those guys, and then we've got a great network around us. We've got the world-class squad who have been helping us so much, and we've got our chef to keep. So all of those guys will be down there in the kiss and cry area.
Yeah. Hopefully kiss rather than cry. Or maybe
yeah.
cry with joy.
Cry
Cry
exactly,
with joy. Maybe
absolutely.
That's the answer. We'll talk about JP actually shortly, but having a trainer, of course, is vital to the whole operation.
Yeah.
Now, talking about having a trainer, Valentina, you have got a very, very unusual position this week because you've got a team of 4 young Italian riders, 2 members of which are trained by you.
Yes, by me and my dad.
So you've got a bit of a split role. I mean, are you going to be helping them, or are you going to ignore them this week and say, sorry, it's all about me, I've got to get on with it?
No, it's not very professional.
I know, and I knew you wouldn't say yes.
No, I'm lucky because they have to ride today and I ride tomorrow. So for today I can be concentrate on them, and from this evening and tomorrow I will be concentrate on me. One of the 2 girls went in this morning and the other one this afternoon. So I think, as she told us, we have to do our job because we do this competition all the year, and especially for us, we have every time the Grand Prix, and then the Grand Prix Special, and then the freestyle. So it's always the same thing. So it's not difficult to have 2 students and ride.
And so, and your father's here as well, Enzo's here.
Yeah, he's helping me, of course.
Sure.
Yeah, these 2 girls have got 2 trainers.
Yeah, 2 trainers. Well, they're very, very lucky to have 2 trainers.
Yeah.
And now, of course, cowboys don't get nervous, do they?
No, some of them they get nervous. I'm not that kind. I try to keep cool, and like you said, I'm living in Normandy, so my parents are there, my friends. So that keeps your mind in the good way. You know, you are not too much focused on you are focused, you know, enough, but not too much to keep the pressure down, and it's okay. Like the girls say, we're doing this all year long, so we just have to do the same, stay focused. We know what our horses are able to do, so it's not because we are at the World Equestrian Games that we have to go harder than usually, so just keep the same and do our job.
Sure. And keep your fingers crossed, as they say.
Yeah.
And in terms of training, Bastien, you spent some time in America, didn't you, training?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I used to spend 1 year with $3 million riders, crash muscle. So we learn a lot about training horses, the program, because we start the horses really young at 2 years. So we learn the program from 2 years to until they go to the show. So yes, that's the best experience of my life for horses. I mean, that's the horses industry. We got 100 horses to ride every day. Wow. So we were 10 people, the boss, and we were 9 assistants. So that was already a big industry for the reining, but that's the best experience.
So how many horses a day were you riding then?
12.
12 horses a day?
Yep.
And going through the routines of training them and things?
Yeah, we don't have to feed, we don't have to clean the stall, anything. We just come and ride horses. But we have 12 for us, and we get to help the boss to settle and warm up the horses for him. So that was big days.
Wow.
Yep.
That's absolutely extraordinary. And how many horses do you have at home now then for yourself to compete?
Not that much. It's really different. We don't have a lot of customers. So for me, the horse I got to show here, it's my own horse. At home, I got 5 or 6 horses to ride every day. And then I give lesson and everything, and I help my parents for the riding center.
Of course, you went to America because they've really dominated the sport. I mean,
Yep.
they I think probably made the sport in the first place.
Yeah.
Things are changing a bit though. We were talking to Jeff Pesca yesterday, and I said, are America still dominating the sport of reining? And he said, it's not quite like that. They're all catching up, the Europeans.
Yeah, they still dominated, but we got some country like Belgium who are really strong riders. They got very good horses, so they can start to teasing them, and that's pretty cool. But I think they are still on top because reinings come from USA and they got so many horses to ride. That's the big difference, I think. We got pretty good riders in Europe, like Bernard Funk, Rudy Kronsteiner. They are $1 million riders, so they are really good. But we still don't have that much horses that they got over there.
Let's just talk about the horses. Natasha, as you say, you know JP well. It's hard enough to ride a horse as an able-bodied person, and Valentina and Bastien will agree with that, I'm sure. When you're riding para-dressage, it's how you climb those mountains. I don't really understand because it's very admirable. Finding a horse is so critical. How do you go through that process? Because you yourself can't go. If Valentina wants to find a new horse or Bastien, they will go and ride a horse here, there, and try them and see what they're like. How does that process work for you?
It's pretty much the same. I have to listen to the owner a lot because obviously I can't have a horse that's going to buck me off. No. Really, I don't want to become even more disabled, really. But yeah, it's difficult. It's really difficult, and I have absolutely no use of my legs when I ride whatsoever. So horses are kind of like Marmite with me. They either like me or they really don't understand what I'm asking them to do at all. And I can kind of gauge within the first 10 minutes of sitting on them what they're going to be like and how their reaction's going to be. JP's a very sensitive horse. It took me a long time to really bond with him and for him to understand me, and he can still be really spooky. So that's why I have to have a really strong partnership with him, and he has to really trust me. And London was quite daunting for me going into that massive arena, and we don't get to go into big stadiums in para-dressage. That was the biggest arena that I've ever been in ever. And so not really knowing how he was going to react to that, 11,000 people were in the stands, and I think the biggest thing that I've ever done before has had a couple of thousand, and that wasn't even with him. So we played lots of clapping at home to get him used to it. I got all of my friends around the arena at home and just kind of stood up and cheering at random points when I was riding, but nothing is quite like the atmosphere that you get at a World Games or a Europeans or a Paralympics. So it's quite difficult to find the right horse that we know's got the temperament but has also got the quality to go out and win a gold medal, because that's why we're all here, really.
With no use of your legs, what are your strongest aids?
My voice.
It's your voice,
which I like to use quite a lot. Yeah, my voice and my seat. He's, like I say, he's very sensitive, so I can turn a little bit or twist my body a tiny bit, and he'll know exactly what I mean. But for things like the walk pirouettes, they're difficult enough when you've got both of your legs to use, but like I've got nothing there, so I've had to train him to my hands and to my seat to move around my body, which it's pretty difficult for them to understand what we want, and it's a lot of trial and error at home, and that's why for paras, the use of our trainers is so important. So Lisa rides my horse. We're allowed for grade 1s and 2s, which are the most disabled grades. I'm a grade 2. Lisa's allowed to ride for half an hour per day. So we have our slot. So she rides for 20 minutes before I get on, and then I do another 25 minutes before I go into the test. So she goes through things like the medium trot, because again, I've got no use of my legs. So I kind of make like a sh 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 noise as I'm going across the diagonal, and when I do that noise around the corner before I do my medium trot, he knows what's coming. And then she goes through some walk pirouettes as well, using my aids as well as a little bit of leg. So if he backs off of what would be my aid, she can use her leg a little bit to get him going again, and he kind of can relate that to then when I get on. So it is really fundamental that we use our trainers a lot in paras.
Valentina, when you see people like Natasha doing the para-dressage, you must think to yourself, I don't really understand how good they are. It is fantastic, isn't it?
Yes. We have a good rider in the Paralympics. We have Sara Morganti. She won the bronze medal last year in the European Championship. And I saw for the first time a competition, because in Italy we don't have the same competition. Usually we are separate. And I really didn't believe how can she do. She does the same things we do, but without some hates, because I don't think I can do a walk period without my legs. So it's unbelievable.
And tell me about your horse that you're riding here, Valentina.
My horse is an Italian horse. We took him when he was 6 months. So we trained him from the beginning until Grand Prix level, yes. And usually we do this with all our horses. We took when they are very young, and then we train until Grand Prix, we hope. And it's a very, it's a strong horse in a good way, but it's a strong horse. And sometimes he's a little bit with too much energy. So the big problem with him is this. Because in the exercise it's quite easy, but in some competition I had some problem to have him under control. And in dressage, if you don't have control, it's terrible. But
I was going to say, there's a difficult balance, because you need power,
yes,
but you need to control the energy, and that isn't. I mean, as you all do. That's a very difficult thing to balance out, isn't it? It's finding that recipe.
I think after many years, I found the right way this year. Because at the beginning, it was younger. So for example, if you lunging a little bit, it was okay. But with the training, he became stronger. So now you have to work 2 times, for example, before the competition. But if it's cold, it's different from when it's warm. So you have to find every time the right way to train the horse. But I think now we found, I hope, we found the right way to train.
How old is your horse now?
13.
Because the pinnacle for a Grand Prix horse, the age when, the sort of average age of when they're at their peak is what? Is it about 13 or 14?
Yes. My dad always tell me that the best is between 13 and 17 in dressage.
I want to pick up on that with Bastien, because
yes,
I've been learning about the reining and the age of the horses. Bastien's already mentioned about the starting at 2. They're competing at 3.
Yep.
And I think when they're 6, they're
old.
Getting on a bit. Yeah, they're getting old.
Yeah. We start at 2. The first competition started at the end of the 3 years old. And for the FEI, they ask us a 6-year-old horse. And next year, 7, like everybody.
Yeah.
So there is 2 different way. Some horses gonna start the futurity at 3 years old, and the derby at 4, 5, and 6. If they are still sound, still good-minded, because in our sport that they are starting to think a lot, and that's our problem. They can be pretty good for the body, for the legs and everything, but when you go in the show pen, they start to think too much, and that's our problem. So we have to keep them cool until the 6 or 7 years for the FEI. That's pretty hard.
When you say they start to think too much, do you mean they are anticipating?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Getting excited, want to rush around?
That's it. They anticipated, and that's the worst. When we go in the show pen, what we want is the horse listening to us and don't want to try anything, because they say, okay, they know that in the middle we have to change lead, they know that we have to slow down, they know we're going to run down and stop, so they want to run down earlier, and that's bad for the judges. So we really want they're waiting for us, and that's what it's really hard when they're getting old, because they know their job. So that's why in the training we never do a complete pattern. We say just spin, stop, and we do everything that, and they keep cool.
In terms of riding the horses, Natasha mentioned that her voice is a very important aid for her. Do you both use the voices as well a lot?
Yes.
Yes.
At home, yes, but in competition, in dressage, we can't.
Of course, you're not allowed to, are you?
Yeah.
No, of course not.
So we only lead. Okay, if you are not too close to the judge, you can say something really loud.
Do you, if you do use your voice, do you get eliminated?
No, you have -2. Yeah.
Okay, -2 points. Of course, it's not the same for you.
No,
guys.
I'm allowed to
You're
use
allowed
one.
to,
They don't
absolutely.
like us shouting. Obviously, it's got to be quite subtle.
Yes.
But yeah, we're allowed to.
Right.
But only for grade 1s and 2s.
Okay, Bastien, what has it been like in Normandy for the last 4 or 5 years since you knew that the Alltech FEI World Equestrian Games was coming right here in your home county? What has it been like?
I say I have to be there.
That's a good answer. I mean, have there been a lot of talk in France and everyone building up to it?
Yeah, that's. I mean, a lot of people talking about horses and everything, but when you say, okay, I'm going to the World Equestrian Games, you say, okay, it's far, it's Kentucky, it's Canada, it's Italy, maybe it's far. Then this time it's different. It's really close from my house, so everybody, oh, are you going in Caen? Are you going in Caen? They ask me all the time, say, I don't know, I have to qualify before, so a lot of friends of mine and listen to the radio because they're talking about the games and everything, so they say, oh, are you going? So yeah, that's, you say, I have to be there. I have no choice. I have to do my best to be there.
And Normandy, of course, apart from being famous for the drink Calvados, is also a very famous horse breeding area, isn't it?
Yeah, there is a lot of horses, not reining horses,
No.
but a lot of jumping and race horses, a lot of pasture, and some people say that Normandy is our Kentucky.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Not quite bluegrass, but good grass.
Yeah, good grass.
And just talking about the breeding of horses, Valentina, you mentioned that your horse is Italian bred. And are there many Italian bred horses on the international circuit?
Here in our team, for example, we have 2 Italian horses.
Okay.
Because one horse is a half brother of mine from the same breeding. The name is Il Castegno. Now there are some breeder, not too much, who try to have good horses in jumping and in dressage, but most of all we have to go abroad in Germany or Holland to take horses.
And what is the tradition of the horse in Italy? I mean, are there traditional Italian breeds of horses?
Not for dressage, a little bit more for jumping. Yes, and for 3-day eventing something too, but not, not like here or in Germany or in Holland.
Yes, of course, the Dutch and the German and the warm bloods has just sort of been dominated it. And what's the best? Is there a particularly good breed for para-dressage?
Pretty much the same, to be honest. My horse is actually Polish.
Is it?
Yeah, which everybody is very surprised when they see his passport. But yeah, my new horse is German. Yeah, we normally travel to Germany and Holland. It's pretty much the same as the dressage guys.
And of course, the breeding of all these horses, I mean, equestrian sport globally over the last 20 years has gone like this, and of course, the media coverage, as you said, about the London Olympics was just fantastic for horse sports. Is it something, do you think, that more of those Eastern European nations will start breeding more horses for competition? Do you think they can see a market, to be honest?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even in the UK now, we've got so many good studs. We've got the Half Moon Delphi in the dressage. She's British bred, and we're coming on in the UK, and I do think it is going to grow. Equestrian sport as a whole has grown over the last few years, so I do think it's going to get even bigger.
And I guess, Bastien, you obviously quarter horses. You do. So are you breeding some of those at home?
Not me, but we start to have some good breeding in France. This year we got 6 horses in the team, and we got 2 horses from French breeding, mine and Grégory Legrand. Got a French horse too. So we start to have some good horses. And we can go to like you, Germany, Belgium, Italy, there are a lot of breeding for reining. Yeah.
Oh, is there?
Yep.
I didn't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm interested, Valentina, what your father thinks about the changes in the sport and was he using the similar bred horses when he was riding internationally?
No, when he was riding in the 80s, more or less, he went in Germany to take horses. In Italy, there were nothing. Yeah.
Right. So. Let's just talk about the games because we're here. Mm-hmm. There's an awful lot going on, all very exciting. I'm interested to know, really, have you got lots of Italian people coming over to watch? I know there's lots of Brits here.
Yes, because it's not so far from Italy coming here. We have many relatives, the parents, some friends, and boyfriends, okay? And yes, there are some people who are coming to watch us. Not, I think more in London. Yes, at the Olympic Games. But we will see. We hope to have a strong fans club.
And all Bastien has to do is just text his friends and say,
come over.
Get over here, Nicole.
Go to see the Italian girls.
I'm on tomorrow. And there's a sort of a smashing UK British contingent.
Yeah, absolutely. I keep seeing on Facebook and everything about everybody's coming over to France, so it's great. Hopefully there'll be lots of Union flags waving in the audience.
Well, actually, we've got a tremendous social media network going on covering the games, or for the to go global. It's actually fantastic. And actually, our roving reporter Sienna is now going to bring us an update on the social media.
We've had some great responses on social media. Carl Hester has been keeping us up to date with Great Britain's dressage times, with his tweet saying, "The waiting is nearly over. Let the games begin. #WEG 2014. And of course, Carl was with us yesterday in the studio. Gareth Hughes' wife Rebecca has tweeted a photo of Carl Hester's Nip Tuck with the caption, "Nip Tuck just loving all the attention and pampering back at the stables." Paul Tatner is sounding positive with his tweet, ready to smash it. On the FEI's Instagram account, there have been some wonderful photos of the opening ceremony, along with a beautiful photo of Le Pin National Stud. On the FEI's Facebook page, photos and news have already been uploaded of very wet-looking riders over at the para-dressage, and of last night's awesome music festival down at the Entertainment Village with Kool and the Gang. What a night that was. I'll be here again tomorrow with more social media updates from the Alltech FEI World Equestrian Games, and hopefully the sun will be shining.
Well, a big thanks to Sienna, and she'll be bringing us reports from all the venues across Normandy over the next few days. Well, it just leaves me to say, first of all, a big thank you for joining us on Chez today, but of course, all the very best wishes for you and your horses, and indeed all your teams and crew, because it's not just about you guys and the horses, is it? You wouldn't be here without a big team. So I really hope it goes well, and we hope that we see medals around your neck in the next few days. So thank you once again very much indeed, and the very best of luck. And thank you also very much indeed for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.